Muy buenas, mis queridas fortunatas y queridos fortuneros. Aquí los he convocado para presenciar un nuevo gameplay del Discworld de Noir. Sin embargo, antes de presentárselos, les recuerdo: denle like a este video, comenten, suscríbanse a mi canal, compártanlo, activen la campanita de notificaciones. Si se sienten millonarios, pueden hacerme llegar alguna ayudita mediante los links de Mercado Pago y cafecito que hay en la descripción del video. Y si quieren contar con contenido exclusivo, pueden hacerse miembros de mi canal. Bueno, una vez dado el recordatorio, vamos al juego. Bien, muy bien. Así que le tenemos que buscar un escondite a Isa y a dos castaños. Ilsa. Una que a nadie se le puede ocurrir. Ah, ¿qué tal si vamos acá?
I see Sir has returned. Sir has? Who would Sir like to see?
Ajá.
Is Carlotta home? Alas, no. What a shame that Sir's trip has been wasted. Perhaps Sir would like to leave now. Tell her I called by. Why, my loins stir at the very thought of serving you in this way, sir.
Bueno, pedir ver al conde para
Is the Count receiving
mostrarle...
guests? No, but he will see you.
Tata.
I've got a few more questions for you, Count. Yes, good questions. Go on.
Ajá, no. Que le voy a mostrar el amuleto.
Recognize this?
Yes, I do. It is Regin's charm bracelet. I gave it to him.
Is there something special about it?
It's been in the family for years. I'm not sure where it came from, but I believe that the charms were carved from the wood of the serendipity.
Secoya suertuda.
They were very, very old trees, and they grew very tall, up to a mile, if the texts can be believed.
Kilómetro y medio.
They were very top heavy, and the slightest wind would knock them home.
How did they grow so tall?
That was the thing, you see. They'd fall over, but they were unbelievably lucky. They'd prop themselves up against each other like a house of cards.
Lucky trees.
Oh, believe me, as a student of flora, I have seen many such strange things evolve. Strangeness is indigenous to the Discworld.
What happened to the redwoods?
Someone cut one down, and the rest came down like dominoes. They crushed the fellow with the axe, I believe.
I guess they weren't so lucky for him.
Bien, a ver.
This empty envelope belonged to Regan. Does it mean anything to you?
An empty envelope? I don't understand.
Neither do I.
Bueno, ahora... el escondrijo, a ver si nos permite, a ver, uy.
With the Assassin's Guild looking everywhere for two conkers, I couldn't trust anyone enough to tell them I was looking for somewhere safe to hide him.
Tata. Bueno, nos vamos.
I'll be back later.
I look forward to it.
¿Qué otro lugar? En el papagayo octarino. No se lo podrán esconder. A ver, no te terma acá. No te terma, así que nos vamos. Acá, Manquín. Ahora, Manquín.
Come to persecute me some more, Luton? A man's gotta have a hobby. With the Assassin's Guild looking everywhere for two conkers, I couldn't trust anyone enough to tell them I was looking for somewhere safe to hide him.
Bueno, nos vamos sin despedirnos, total. A ver... ¿el despacho mío? Digo, de Luton. Bueno. en el templo de los dioses mayores. Bueno, acá lo veo a Malaclipse. ¿No te la Carlota acá? No la veo, así que... No, se me ocurre que acá no es... No... No, en el gremio de arqueólogos no puedo entrar. A ver, para... Lo dejaré por un tiempo y voy a fijarme acá qué dice. ¿Ah?
What was I going to do? Scale the walls with my bare hands?
Bien, a ver.
If I was going to use the grapple to scale the wall, I needed something that I could aim for and anchor to.
De acuerdo.
The palace walls were useful for keeping intruders out and keeping the roof in place. Looking closely, I could see the other side of the hole in the wall that I'd seen from inside Leonard's cell.
Ah, bien, bien.
Right under the patrician's nose. It was just crazy enough to work. But I'd have to be sure I could get up there first. It always looked much easier in the
Ahí sí. Bueno, entonces pues vamos al Café Ankh.
I've done it. I found somewhere to hide him.
Where?
Where no one would even think about looking. Somewhere that only the patrician and I know exists, I reckon.
The patrician and you? What if that patrician finds two conkers there?
Two conkers should be able to hide without too much difficulty. Besides, I have a feeling that if Lord Veterinary meets two conkers, he'll have a different take on this situation. He doesn't like to see useful people get killed. Besides, I am sure this is the only place in Ankh-Morpork that he'll be safe from Remora. Is it okay to move him?
He should be okay.
To be feeling much better in thankings. Sure he's not still delirious?
Sometimes I wonder.
Let's go. Hello again, Leonard.
Hello. I'm afraid I had to go back to the drawing tablet with the spinning blades radiating from central hub. It was too heavy. The device flew all right, but only in a downward trajectory.
That is looking like some kind of fluttering machinery.
Yes, I call it a flapping wing flying device. But it isn't working yet.
May I take a look?
Be my guest.
Are you to be considering the increasings of the wingtitude?
The span of the wings? I considered it, but the weight is still the problem.
What if you be using bombastic wood for the frame? It hadn't occurred to me that two conkers would have any practical skills, but I guess you didn't carry out complex excavations without learning a thing or two about engineering. I left him to get to know Leonard and hooked up with Ilsa. She had a deal to keep. With two conkers safely hidden away, Ilsa kept her word. She took me straight to the guild and signed me in as her personal guest. Excuse me, can you help me?
That depends on what you want.
I'm new here. I'm just trying to get a feel for the place.
Are you a member?
Not yet.
What's your name?
Luton.
Laredo Kronk. Pleased to meet you, I'm sure.
The pleasure is all mine.
Of course it is. So you're a guest, are you?
Is that a bad thing?
Only in so much as 8 out of 10 guests who confess to preference stole something before disappearing.
I'm not going to steal anything, trust me.
You're wrong. You are going to steal something, but don't worry about it. Almost everything the Guild of Archaeologists owns is stolen, and frankly, they should expect people to steal from them.
Do you steal from them?
Golly, no! I never steal from any building less than 1,000 years old. They're really exciting puzzles.
Esta es Lara Croft.
So, what do you do for a living?
I'm a tomb evacuator.
And what does that involve?
It's a lot of fun. It means breaking into ancient buildings within which no man or woman has walked for thousands of years. Apart from whoever it is who leaves all those medical kits, of course. Working my way through fiendish traps and puzzles, and eventually stealing some priceless treasure.
And do you sell the treasure?
Goodness, no! I'm far too well-bred for that. I bring it here, and have to watch as they slam it into a vault that nobody will look in.
A vault?
Forget I said that. Suffice it to say, the Guild of Archaeologists has a priceless collection of artifacts, but no one gets to see them.
Isn't that a waste?
Well, nobody said archaeology was rewarding.
Why do you do it then?
For the excitement, silly, and the fame. Everyone has heard of Laredo Kronk.
I hadn't.
Well, most people have. I was on the front cover of Archaeologist's Monthly twice last year.
I don't read it.
Those long words can be so tiresome, can't they?
So, what is a tomb?
Nothing special. I break into places where priceless antiquities have been locked away for centuries, overcome the elaborate and convoluted security systems, defeat my rivals, and make away with the treasure. Typical day's work, really.
So, you must be pretty rich then.
Oh, I've got absolutely pots of money. Anyway, the whole thing with the tombs and so on is just a hobby. And of course, it's great for making friends.
What, among fiendish tomb-guarding monsters?
No, I kill all those. I meant people are always asking me things like, how do you get to the third ledge in the tomb of Tex-Mex cuisine? What's a walkthrough?
Never heard of it.
People are always asking me for one. I hope it's nothing to do with sex.
My mind just boggled. Sorry. Broken into anywhere interesting, have you?
Well, I knocked over the Grand Temple of Offla several times. Such sillies. Every time they get the Tear of Offla back, I take it. It's getting a bit boring recently. Then there's the Catacombs of Genua and the Temple of Anu Anu at Al-Khali. I don't know, it's all a little routine. I'd like to do something new for a change.
Ever thought about retiring?
I'd love to, but the public seem to want me.
You mentioned vaults.
I told you to forget I mentioned that.
I take it all the treasure that people find is kept in vaults under the guild.
I shouldn't discuss that with you since you're only a guest.
Worried I'm going to steal something?
Worried? No. I'm certain you're going to steal something. I just don't care.
Why not?
I'm very philosophical about this sort of thing. It's like I said, everything in the guild is stolen. It seems unfitting that someone else should get to steal it back. Assuming they can overcome the traps, of course.
Bueno,
Do you know a troll by the name of Horst?
Jasper Horst. Yes, I know him. Horst and I go way back. And I don't mean that in a good way.
How do you know Horst?
You could say that he and I are rivals. We have this uncanny habit of turning up in the same place at the same time, looking for the same archaic treasure.
You sound bitter.
Well, I always win, of course. But that doesn't mean I don't resent his interference.
Must keep your life interesting, though.
Perhaps. I could stand a little less excitement in my life, though.
igual. Habrá que irnos.
Thanks for your time.
No problem.
Bueno, ya que habrá que ir a las habitaciones de Horst para preguntarle sobre Laredo.
Ah, Mr. Luton, it is always a pleasure to see you. I trust you have brought something with you that will be to my liking.
I haven't brought you the sword yet, if that's what you mean.
I'm a patient troll, sir, but there are limits to my patience.
Entonces no es tan paciente. Bueno,
A woman named Laredo Kronk is in town. It seems to me that you might know her.
Laredo is here in Ankh-Morpork. Really? I thought that we had dealt with her in the temples of Tezuman. She is full of surprises, that one. Would you do me a favor, sir, as one friend to another?
Perhaps. It depends on the favor.
But of course, you your prudence continues to speak well of you, I'd like for you to arrange a meeting with Laredo for me.
It seems as if I'd be doing you a favor. It seems as if I should be getting something in return.
Very well. Arrange this meeting for me, and we can discuss the sword in detail. Do we have an agreement?
Works for me. I'll go give her the news. I can't guarantee she'll turn up, though.
Oh, she'll come. We have much to discuss.
Bien. Así que vamos a darle de... ¡Apa! Pero, ¿qué cosa se me apareció en la...? Pero antes de darle el recado tengo que ver... Y me apareció algo nuevo, ¿qué? No sé... ¿No? Vamos al gremio de arqueólogos.
I'm back.
Apparently so.
I've got a message for you from Horst.
Horst is in Ankh-Morpork.
Absolutely. He wants to meet with you to discuss certain matters arising.
Super.
I have to say that it's probably a trap.
Of course it's a trap. That's what makes it interesting.
Huh?
I'll see you later, Luton.
Best of luck.
You too.
Laredo made her way over to Horst's quarters and didn't look back. I had no idea what the two had to talk about, but I was sure it would lead to a new and exciting adventure, one even more complex and challenging than her last. For the time being, at least, Laredo was out of the way.
Bien, a verla. Y una con bisagra.
I heard a faint click, and the next thing I knew, the fireplace was revolving. I won't bore you with the details of the guild's security system. After all, if you've seen one intricate and fatal collection of bits and traps, you've pretty much seen them all. Suffice to say, it took a lot of trial and error, some scorched eyebrows, and more levers than I could count.
A verla.
I wasn't about to steal the security notice.
Leerlo.
Up on the wall of Vault 51 was a sign reading, Unseen Securities, Magical Alarms, Wards, and Hexes. I guess a place like this needed the best security around.
Ajá. Entonces...
I punched away at the rooms randomly, but as far as I could tell, nothing happened. There was a panel by the oak door with runes on it.
Ta. Entonces, bueno. Bien. Bueno, entonces, seguridad mágica. Ah, ya sé. Saturnalia, a ver. El mago, el que instalaba seguridad mágica.
Can we talk, or do I have to play that stupid game again? We can talk.
Ta.
Hello again, Warb.
Bien. El inventario, a ver.
I think this charm bracelet is worth something to you.
Really?
The charms are carved from serendipitous redwood. It's a genuine luck bringer.
Where did you get it? And if it's so lucky, why do you want to give it to me?
It used to belong to Reagan. And I'm not going to give it to you, but I might trade it to you.
Reagan? The dwarf, yeah. I remember seeing him wear it at the tables. Do you think that was why he always won?
I'm no expert, but anything's possible.
You're right. I'm interested. What do you want for it?
What have you got?
I haven't got any money. Actually, I don't think I've got anything of any value to offer at all.
I guess we'll just have to think of something. I have an idea of what you can trade me for the bracelet.
Go on.
You work for Unseen Securities, right?
Yeah?
Well, I need to get into Vault 51 under the Guild of Archaeologists, and you can help me.
No, that's a bad idea.
I could get into serious trouble.
Face it, Warb, your life's a mess. You've got nothing to lose. But if this charm bracelet is as good as it seems, it could make a world of difference to you.
Whoa, if they traced the breaking back to me, my life wouldn't be worth living.
In the first place, no one is going to know I broke in. And in the second place, there's no reason they need to trace it back to you. And in the third, your life is already not worth living. What difference is this going to make?
Maybe you're right. All right, I'll do it.
How do I switch off the security system for Vault 51?
I don't know what their watchword is, but all the unseen security systems have a back passage.
What's that?
It's a way to switch them off that only we know about.
What is it?
You'll have to find the rune panel.
What's it look like?
It's a small panel with runes marked on it. You touch the right runes in sequence to switch it off.
What's the sequence for the back passage?
Give me the bracelet first.
Here you are. Now, what's the sequence for the back passage?
Whatever the runes are on the panel, make an X starting in the top left and finishing in the bottom left. That's the back passage.
A pleasure doing business with you, Warb.
You won't tell anyone about this, will you?
Don't worry. I'm feeling honorable today.
Entonces, vámonos a... al gremio de arqueólogos.
Just as Warb had told me, I made an X on the control panel. I just hoped he was telling the truth.
Ah, bien, ahí sí entramos.
Vault 51. I couldn't deny it. It made a big impression on me. Not quite as big an impression as some of the traps on the way would have done, but at least the impression it was making wasn't fatal. I didn't have time to search through all the crates. There were thousands of them. Vault 51 was filled with crates and displays of all shapes and sizes. I couldn't even begin to guess what treasures were lost in its cavernous interior. Perhaps even that pen I lost the other week. The crates were labeled with some kind of 4-digit reference number, and there did seem to be some sort of a pattern as to how they were organized.
A ver, creo recordar algo, a ver. Bueno, conste que esto tuve que buscarlo. Hace mucho tiempo había jugado este juego y en esta parte estaba bastante trabado, así que no me quedó otra que buscarlo en internet y me salió con que tenía que combinar la nota Mundi colgado por pie con Asil. Bien. La cosa que ya tenemos y hay que buscar.
I worked my way around the vault towards exhibit 3712V.
Bien.
There wasn't much I could do to the cabinet with my bare hands.
Bueno, a ver.
The troll's tooth scored through the cabinet's glass like an accountant through a rich man's wallet. I smashed the tall door into tiny pieces, and inside was the golden sword. Finally, this was it. The artifact that Carlotta, Horst, and who knows how many other people were looking for. Frankly, it was a bit of an anticlimax. I expected it to at least glow a little, or perhaps sing to itself quietly, or hum with the stolen souls of 1,000 men. But it just felt cold and hard in my hand, like any other sword. Suddenly it came over me that everything would go wrong. It sounds crazy, but it's true, so help me. I couldn't hear my footsteps. It was the walk of a dead man.
Apa. Bueno, habrá que irnos. Vamos. Bueno, vámonos.
When I made it out of the guild alive, I thought I was home free. But there was something wrong. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I knew I was in danger. I'm not a suspicious man, but I am a cautious man. I decided then and there to start running, and not look back until my office door was safely locked behind me. But something else had plans for me not to make it that far.
Ah, bien, la animación de la presentación la animación de cuando empecé el juego. Ajá, y cagó Newton.
I don't know when I first began to suspect that I wasn't dead. I guess it must have been when I realized I was thinking about whether or not I was dead. The anthropomorphic entity with the scythe hadn't turned up, so I figured I was either alive or undead. And it didn't take me long to work out which. I wandered through the streets in a day, not really knowing what was going on. At first, I couldn't make out any colors. Then gradually the city came alive with vast clouds of pigmentation. Against it all, there was an ever-present mist of bright green, cloying and unpleasant. There was a dissonance about it that I couldn't place, until I realized I was smelling the rank odor of the River Ankh. I was smelling the world in a way I wouldn't have thought possible. Every smell fascinated me. The resonant scents combined into a symphony. Every street was an opera. Every lamppost an invitation. I don't know how long I wandered the streets. It's hard to tell which way is up when your world has been turned upside down. I ended up back where I started because I didn't know what else to do. Plus, my coat was in the coffin, and Ankh-Morpork is a bad neighborhood to be caught naked in. Woof, woof. I haven't got anything to eat, if that's what you want. Woof, woof, woof. I haven't got any idea what's going on, either.
Woof, bloody woof.
Hey,
That's pretty sharp. Most people don't catch on to that.
what did you say?
Woof, woof.
You can talk, can't you? I mean, really talk.
Nothing gets past you, does it?
How did you do that?
Well, I can sort of talk.
Nonsense. If there was a talking dog in Ankh-Morpork, I'd have heard about it.
Well, the thing is, most people don't seem to notice it.
Yeah, right. Like you wouldn't notice a talking dog.
Seems like people only see what they expect to see.
How philosophical of you.
I just calls them as I see them.
So how come I can tell you can talk?
I don't claim to understand it, I just do it.
Do you know what's happened to me?
I'm guessing you didn't know you were a werewolf till you woke up this morning.
I'm a werewolf. That explains what's happening to me. I thought somebody slipped something into my embalming fluid.
First order of business is to train you up then.
Hold it right there. I don't need your help.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. Look at yourself. What's your name?
Luton. I'm a private investigator. Well, I was. Then I was dead. Then I was, well, a werewolf, I suppose. I guess I spoke too soon. Maybe I do need your help. What's your name?
Gaspode the Wonder Dog.
The Wonder Dog?
Hey, don't knock the name.
I was named after the famous Gaspode.
Never heard of him.
Most people haven't. He belonged to an old man in Ark many years ago. When the old man anyone who came near, then he died.
And they called him the Wonder Dog because he was such a paragon of doggy faithfulness and loyalty.
Until they discovered that his tail had been trapped under the stone, yeah.
How do you think I became a werewolf?
Well, presumably you got bit by a
Muerdió.
Bitten.
Right. Lesson 1. Don't correct me round. All right.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, once I've trained you, I suggest that the first thing you do is try and work out how you got infected.
Infected?
With lycanthropy. It's the blood disease that werewolves have. Now, since you don't have any cubhood memories of romping with your pack, I reckon it's a safe bet that you got infected somehow.
Carlota.
So someone I know is a werewolf.
Give the wolf a cigar.
Carlota no será la mujer lobo.
Wolf and a man at will.
Sort of. There's a certain way the change works.
The change?
There's two things you've got to learn about being a werewolf. The nose and the change.
The nose?
Yeah, the nose. Werewolves have a unique perception of the world, a sort of a different point of smell.
I've noticed that. I can see scents as colours, and they have a certain feel about them too.
Those colours are unique. Each smell has its own signature colour. So you can tell whether or not someone has been somewhere by whether or not you can see their scent there.
Even as a man?
No, only when you're a wolf.
And how do I switch between forms?
That's what the change is all about. It's a skill you've got to learn how to do. Now, you've already used it to turn into a wolf. Soon, you'll be able to change whenever you wanna.
How did I change this time if I didn't know how?
That's the other thing about the change. You have to change at the full moon. I guess that's what brought this on in the first place. Other times, it's voluntary.
So can I change now?
Give it a try.
At first I didn't know what to do, but Gaspode talked me through it. Then, when I could see the world in all its psychedelic glory, Gaspode started teaching me about the nose.
You look around, tell me what you see as a wolf.
There's a lot of colours.
Phew, I can see how you became a private investigator. You get a lot more information about scents with your werewolf senses. You can see them as colours.
I can see a mist of bright green surrounding everything. And there's something that looks like a long stream of purplish red cloud with some tiny fluorescent greenish yellow purple specks in it. Also, there's a ground fog of some kind of unpleasant blue.
Well, the bright green is the stench of the River Ark. No mistaking that. That long stream of cloud sounds like the scent of someone having gone through the cemetery recently. Does it smell like a privy car?
No, it smells like Carlotta, but with less trouble.
Well, it wasn't me then. I guess I'm the ground fog of unpleasant blue.
Who was it?
I don't know who it was, but it was someone.
Carlota.
I can't see my own scent.
Well, that's normal. You're so used to being around it that it's invisible to you. Yeah, and that's handy for me, what with my stench and all.
So I can follow the purplish scent to find this person.
If you want, and assuming you don't lose the trail. Other smells eventually drown scents out, especially out on the streets.
What about the coruscating dots?
What's it like?
It's like flashing green, yellow, purple.
Is it like mature mould with an earthy echo?
No.
It's not you then? Don't know what it is. See where else you find it and you might be able to work out what it is.
According to Gaspode, I could learn a lot from comparing different scents.
I figured that could come in handy in my line of work. Assuming I could change back to being human, that is. I gave it my best shot.
Nicely done.
I learned from a master.
Right, that's about it. Apart from the full moon, you can be whatever you want to be. But as of the full moon, you're sniffing lampposts with the rest of us.
Bien, bien, empezamos con el acto 3 entonces. Bueno, gente, espero que les haya gustado ese giro de la historia bastante interesante y espero que no se ponga complicado. Bueno, mis queridos fortuneros y fortunatos, nos estamos viendo el próximo gameplay, ahora como hombres lobos. Adiósito.